I come from a broken family. My moms and my dad set me down at a young age, and my dad was ripped out of my life. He was my role model, and he was yanked out of my life. 23 years old, sentenced to 15 years in prison. And it would have been real easy for me to say, you know what, I give up. I come from a broken family, suicidal thoughts, self-harm. I've been homeless. I found myself sleeping on the streets. I battled drug addictions, you name it. If there was anybody that could have said, you know what, my past is bigger than my future, I give up, it would have been me. But I remember something that my father taught me when I was that kid. As long as there's breath in your lungs, there's hope in your heart. Don't you dare quit. And he told me at the end of the day, Nathan, don't compare yourself. Don't give up. And he said, listen, Nathan, see the problem, identify the problem, then figure out the solution. Don't let the problem consume you. And you don't stop until you figure it out. Giving up is not an option.
Take full responsibility. It's not the seed, it's not the soil, it's not the sunshine, it's not the seasons that's to be criticized. Whatever you've reaped, it's your crop. Take responsibility. No complaint.
And we put our back against the wall because of some of the poor mistakes that we've made, and we gotta kind of own those. But you know what I realized, y'all? I was allowing things that I had no control over to control me. I used to blame my dad for everything growing up as a kid. I blamed him for my attitude. I blamed him for my drug use. I blamed him when I skipped school. He was my excuse for everything. And at the end of the day, I had no control over that situation, but I was giving it all the control over me. I'm not going to allow things that I have no control over to control me.
There are many people who believe because of where they're born, because of the area where they are in life and where they find themselves, that's all they know. They just have enough energy to complain about it. In fact, they believe that that's equivalent to doing something about it, just complaining.
There are things that happen to us that we have no control over. We didn't ask for it. We just have to deal with it. Broken families, losing loved ones. Some of us have experienced real tragic, difficult situations that we didn't ask for, but it was like somebody put this plate of food and puts it right in front of you and says, this is your life, deal with it. And you're like, man, I don't want it, but it's yours to figure it out.
Most people really want their lives to count. We want our lives to matter. We want to feel useful. We want to make a difference. We don't want to waste our lives. Instead, we want our lives to be productive. And you know, the people who are productive are the happiest when they're actually being productive. You're more happy when you are being more productive. Productivity is always about making the most of what you've been given. And this is true not just to people, but also businesses and organizations, even nations.
If you don't try to create the future you want, you must endure the future you get. I'm not creating my own future. I'm just enduring the future that comes to me. But the moment that I become intentional, the moment that I say, I have a choice, I can make a difference, I don't have to become a victim, the moment that happens within my life, I begin to create a better future for me. So the question is, do I wait for good things to happen, or do I work for good things to happen, which means I'm intentionally taking action to do my very best to make the best out of something that isn't so hot.
I can control how I respond, and I can control what I do going forward. Take ownership. Stop making excuses. We want to put blame on anybody else and everybody else around us. When I've made mistakes, I just own it, man. We all make mistakes. We've all got stuff, and I've learned my mistakes set me up for future wins. I win or I learn. And I may make a mistake, but I own it radically. I don't play the blame game. If I was wrong, I make it, I claim it, and I move forward.
We all go through things that are unfair. People that do us wrong, the company let us go. It's easy to live with a victim mentality, thinking we're at a disadvantage. We can't do anything great. Look at how we were raised. We can't live happy. We've been through too much. As long as you accept that you're a victim, you're going to get stuck. You have to take the hand you've been dealt and make the most of it. That person that did you wrong, it may have been painful, but they didn't ruin your life. If they could stop God's plan, they would be bigger than God. Don't let one bad break, one difficult season cause you to be sour. Instead of having a victim mentality, switch over to a victor mentality. That bad break is not how your story ends. God said in Isaiah, He will pay you back double for the unfair things that have happened. It may be unfair, but God is a just God. He knows who hurt you, what you're struggling with. He's not going to just bring you out, He's going to bring you out better.
Change what you were saying. Words change the atmosphere of your life.
Your current situation is not in charge of your future destination. Get your hopes up. Start believing. Start expecting. Expectation means to live life with an anticipation that I'm believing for more. It's time to raise your expectation. This word expectation, it is the ingredient of faith.
We all go through things that are unfair. People that do us wrong. The company let us go. We came down with an illness. It's easy to live with a victim mentality, thinking we're at a disadvantage. We were shortchanged. We can't do anything great. Look at how we were raised. We can't love again. The last person hurt us. We can't live happy. We've been through too much. As long as you accept that you're a victim, you're going to get stuck.
You, friend, are a seed. You are full of potential, full of gifts, full of purpose. But if you plant yourself in unhealthy soil, if the environment and relationships you choose to surround yourself with aren't healthy, or they're filled with compromise and negativity, an environment with limited mindsets telling you what you can't accomplish, pulling you down, then you won't see the growth that you've been designed to experience. You see, there's definitely a time to focus on self-development, focusing on you, checking your attitude, checking your dreams, your plans. Self-development is critical. But may I propose another focus? Something that's key to you reaching your full potential? That's soil development. That means assessing your environment. It means assessing your relationships. Friend, you need to be selective right now with whom you give your time, energy, and attention to.
Get rid of that victim mentality. You're not a victim. God always causes you to triumph. That bad break wasn't fair. You didn't like it, but what you can't see is it set you up for double. And here's the key. Nobody can make you be a victim. You can go through things you don't like, you don't understand, but none of that can force you to have a victim mentality. You have to give permission to become a victim. I'm asking you to not give permission. Don't allow that victim mentality to enter your thinking. When unfair things happen, thoughts will whisper, just your luck. You're scarred now. Life will always be difficult. That's when you have to dig down deep and say, no thanks. I refuse to be a victim. Thinking that I've been shortchanged, I know God is still on the throne. What was meant for my harm, He's turning to my advantage. Think about Joseph in the scripture. His brothers were jealous of him and threw him into a pit. They ended up selling him as a slave. His dreams were shattered. He was a victim of his brother's jealousy, a victim of bad breaks. But Joseph didn't go there. He didn't sit around in self-pity. He didn't give up on life. He kept being his best, believing that God was in control. Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph, and he was put in prison for something that he didn't do. Now he was the victim of this lady that was dishonest. 13 years after he was thrown into the pit, Joseph interpreted a dream for the Pharaoh. He was made the prime minister of Egypt. During those 13 years, practically every day, Joseph had to fight having a victim mentality. Thoughts would whisper, look at where you are. Your own family turned on you. This lady lied about you. Joseph's attitude was, I refuse to be a victim. I'm not a victim of my brother's jealousy, not a victim of this lady that lied about me. They did me wrong, but God said He would make it up to me. They tried to push me down, but I know God will lift me up. All the betrayals, the rejection was a part of God's plan. If Joseph had seen himself as a victim, he would have missed his destiny.